family, friends, and trusted mentors. Fulfill our dreams, hopes, and plans as may be best for us and for these graduates. Most of all, we seek your loving presence here this morning as you smile down on the class of 2019 and their families. May your love feed our curiosity and fulfill our dreams, hopes, and plans as may be best for us. And now we place these seniors in your care, Mother and Father God. Enfold them in your loving arms, and most importantly, inspire them to take the lessons learned here out into the world to share with those who have not known this type of community. Finally, unite us all. Bind us together in your spirit today as we celebrate all of the achievements and accolades of these seniors, and all to thy greater glory. Amen.
Good morning. Please be seated. On behalf of the St. Andrews Schools Board of Trustees, I'm proud to welcome you here today for this, the momentous day in our school year. This is a day that experiences the full range of emotions: triumph and joy, uncertainty and apprehension, achievement, nostalgia. And those are just the parents' emotions that I'm referring to. Having sat in one of these seats many years ago, I think our graduates will have emotions that are even more intense. But today is also a day where we honor the qualities that makes you all uniquely St. Andreans. We are not just a place. We are an idea, a noble belief that every person, if given the opportunity, can become more aware, more engaged, more fulfilled. We think of this place as a learning laboratory for building great citizens. To the graduating class of 2019, I will only offer one simple piece of advice. Contemplate today's commencement speaker and learn from his example. Make a mark, impact others, leave footprints, do something that will be remembered for a very long time and for all the right reasons. And as you graduate, also remember this: St. Andrews is a lifetime community. Though you leave here today, the idea of St. Andrews will never leave your side, and neither will our Office of Development. Thank you.
The clouds need to keep coming. I wanted to begin by thanking Scott and the Board of Trustees for their incredible support and leadership here at St. Andrews. John Mcgee just gave this scintillating chapel talk honoring the class of 2019, and he talked about the power of trust and how trust works at St. Andrews. For me, the Board of Trustees entrust the school to the faculty, to the staff, and to the students. We do our best to take this audacious mission begun in 1929 and to make it come alive in each era of the school's history. And we thank the trustees for the trust they give us every year, the inspiration they provide, and the support for this incredible mission. I join Scott in welcoming you all to this beautiful day, this 86th commencement at St. Andrews. The day represents both a celebration of the abiding spirit and mission of St. Andrews, and a special time of joy and fulfillment and expectation for members of this great class of 2019 and their extended families spread all across this lawn and today in the dining room, enjoying some cool temperatures and watching this on video. Graduation, by its very nature, represents a time for reflection and discernment, not only for schools and colleges, but also for America and the global world. As we congratulate our graduates today and pronounce them ready for moral, ethical leadership and intelligent, enlightened service to the common good, we tie the spirit of this campus and the priorities of this school to the needs of America and the world. Each generation confronts its own historic challenge, crisis, and responsibility. And since 1929, St. Andrews has prepared graduates to stand and fight for freedom, human rights, equality, justice, and peace. We gather today as the United States celebrates Memorial Day weekend, a time of remembrance and honor for those who gave up family, education, career, and safety for the cause of freedom. The late, great Senator John McCain describes that spirit of self-sacrifice and nobility this way. His words come from an address to the Naval Academy in 2017. McCain said this: "Many of you will risk everything for your country. You will make sacrifices for your fellow Americans who won't be asked to make sacrifices for you. That's your calling. Thank you for accepting it. I promise there will be compensations for the hard times you endure. You will have lives of adventure. You will have the best company, and you will know a satisfaction far more sublime than pleasure." The Senator's words awaken us to remember that the very quality, integrity, and development of our democracy depend on service to country, sacrifices for the needs of others, and appreciation of goals more profound, more eternal than the satisfaction of our own needs and pleasure. In McCain's spirit, we again this year ask all of our veterans to stand as we honor you on this Memorial Day weekend. Please stand. Now, this generation of St. Andrews students, led by the class of 2019, stands ready for service to humankind in the 21st century. Their St. Andrews education has inspired them to learn how to create communities of grace, goodness, inclusion, and sustainability. They've learned how to ask questions, seek compromise, solve problems, communicate with compassion and empathy and understanding, and to listen and commit to open minds and to open hearts. They've learned to think of others before themselves. They explore the world not to satisfy their desire for pleasure and happiness, but to fight for human dignity and equality. All of these skills and habits of mind and heart will serve them so well as they confront the most complex issues of our time. I believe in our students' capacity to change the world, both because I have seen what they have created here at St. Andrews and because I see what you as families have brought to their lives. Parents, grandparents, guardians, siblings, relatives, and friends have come here today to St. Andrews in expressions of exuberant love. You individually and collectively have provided what the American poet Adrienne Rich calls, in a 1992 graduation address, a time of youth. This creation of a sanctuary means providing your children with exemplary educational experiences, caring and inspiring teachers, and a peer group to lift their sights to what is possible in life. It also means that you've surrounded your children with the gift of innocence, the opportunity to dream, to imagine and build a future in a spirit of confidence and security. Every child in the world deserves this gift of childhood, adolescence, and a community of care. Some of you today have created this time of youth against all odds, and all of you have benefited from knowing that each St. Andrews family here today feels just as strongly as you do about the values that make St. Andrews thrive. On behalf of the class of 2019 and the faculty and staff of St. Andrews, we thank you, all of you family members, for the sacrifices you've made for your children and for your families. We welcome you. A graduation, of course, is also a time to appreciate the art of teaching and mentoring and advising. Those who live outside the world of education sometimes assume that teaching involves something quite simple, something transactional between the instructor and the student. Outsiders sometimes believe that eventually the human side of education can be replaced by technology. And others believe that good teaching emerges simply from ideologies of instruction, rigid approaches to learning that move the teacher all over the place, from the center to the side and even out the door. Here at St. Andrews, we explore the full independence from ideology that the school provides. And we develop distinctive approaches to teaching and learning that ignite passion, curiosity, creativity, and independent thought in our students. But implicit in our approach to teaching and learning in this age of distraction and screens is a belief in the human, the charismatic, the inspiring gifts of faculty working, sharing, envisioning everywhere. In classrooms, in studios, van rides, advising meetings, chapel services, school meetings, practices, games, family-style meals, the list goes on and on. St. Andrews faculty not only assert the power of the human dimension of teaching, they somehow connect the intellectual preparation they provide with deep and sustained commitment to the quality of our students' spirit, character, and leadership. The center of teaching here establishes itself through love for the student, belief in the student, faith in the student. All of us here today, students and parents in particular, thank the St. Andrews faculty, individually and as a group, for their gifts and their commitments. We thank you. Each year during commencement, we thank members of the faculty who are departing at the end of the academic year. Each teacher goes with my and the school's deep appreciation and support, and each will bring the vitality and energy and spirit of St. Andrews to their next endeavor. We were very fortunate to welcome Eliza Maclean back to St. Andrews for our second semester this year. As a head dorm parent, member of our communications office, and coach of crew, Eliza brought great energy, intelligence, and enthusiasm to every aspect of campus life. We wish her the best as she returns to New England for graduate school. Thank you, Eliza. We thank James Bondarchuk, currently on medical leave, for this year spent with us at St. Andrews, teaching math and serving as an assistant dorm parent. And we wish him well as he moves to Nevada and continues his math teaching career. We thank James. Amanda Gahagan arrived at St. Andrews 3 years ago and began work in our advancement office and with our girls lacrosse program. She developed young alumni giving and engagement strategies, strengthened our reunion programs, and assisted in all aspects of our giving within the advancement office. Her love of coaching and connection with students led her to move into a position as a math teacher and dorm parent, advisor, and coach of both girls varsity basketball and lacrosse. Amanda has such natural skills as a leader and mentor for her students, and her work ethic, commitment to excellence, and enthusiasm for each and every challenge made her a great member of our faculty. We are excited about her ambition to pursue graduate education and a career in counseling over the next few years. Thank you, Amanda. Giselle Furlong returned to St. Andrews 5 years ago to take on the roles of Classics Department Chair and Dean of Diversity Education. Poised, thoughtful, brilliant, and generous, Giselle taught and mentored, advised, and created with great energy and intention. Under her leadership, diversity education at St. Andrews became the opportunity of a lifetime for everyone within the community, as we practice the art of radical listening and proximity and love. As Associate Dean of Faculty and Dean of Diversity Education, as this year's convocation speaker, Giselle developed a culture of engagement and professional development, both on and off campus, all the while teaching powerful classes in classics history in this spring in her incredible tutorial on Ralph Ellison, An Invisible Man. We wish Giselle well as she works next year as the head of upper school at Seattle Academy. Thank you, Giselle. For the past 5 years, Matt McAuliffe has done superb work for St. Andrews in every area of the school. A strong, versatile, and experienced teacher of Latin, Greek, and Western civilization, Matt also served as the third form dean with Melinda Tower during a time when we expanded that role and began our own action research on the academic transition of 9th grade students. As a kind, generous, and experienced dorm parent and coach and advisor, Matt made deep contributions to our culture within the school. We wish him the best as he returns to his home city of Seattle at Seattle Academy next year. We thank you, Matt. For the past 7 years, Mike Mastrocola has embodied the distinctive model of a great triple threat boarding school teacher. As a math teacher, head coach of varsity baseball and varsity girls volleyball, as fourth form dean, and as head dorm parent with freshman boys, Mike quickly became one of our most generous, committed, and versatile teachers. His coaching was brilliant and inspiring and transformational in every one of the teams that he coached. We thank him for his extraordinary commitment to St. Andrews and wish him well as he moves closer to home at the Taft School next fall. Thank you, Mike. As I honor 3 wonderful members of our staff who are retiring this spring, I want to pause and celebrate the work our entire staff does each and every day to make St. Andrews strong and safe and beautiful and collaborative. Today is a good example. 24-hour care and vigilance for our campus, brilliant and comprehensive work, planning, preparing, and creating commencement, willingness to do anything for the work that needs to be done, beginning at 4:30 this morning on the front lawn. Please join me in thanking our entire staff for their generosity and their commitment to St. Andrews. For the past 14 years, Diane Fagan has served as administrative assistant in the admissions office at St. Andrews. In this capacity, she's participated in the exciting growth and ambition of our 21st century admissions program. Even as she cultivated expertise in all aspects of the school's admissions program, philosophy, mission, communication, database, scheduling, interviews, visit-back days, Diane Fagan became a central reservoir for kindness, enthusiasm, connection, and grace within the school. The class of 2019 recognized her leadership, humanity, and generosity as they dedicated their Saints Fund gifts to St. Andrews in her name last Sunday. It's my honor to present Diane this school medallion, celebrating her years of dedicated service to her second family at St. Andrews. Congratulations, Diane. Chip Roberts has worked at St. Andrews over the past 23 years as a vital member of our facilities team. His own and his family's association and contributions to the school are absolutely staggering. 5 generations in the family have worked here. His great-grandfather was a gifted mason who was responsible for the stonework completed as part of the initial creation of St. Andrews School in the late 1920s. His grandfather and father continued that tradition, completing the bell tower behind me, the founder's addition that included the library and construction of Pell Hall. His uncle was a beloved librarian at the school and a wonderful friend to me and Elizabeth. A gifted person and a versatile and generous member of our staff, Chip connected his work at St. Andrews with the commitments and responsibilities he held in Middletown. He was a kind, generous, and successful Little League baseball coach in Middletown, and he dedicated his time, energy, and expertise to the education, support, and care of all the players and their families. He worked tirelessly to make sure that every player in the league had a great experience on and off the field, and his contributions to Old St. Anne's included beautiful masonry that we visit twice a year as a school community. At St. Andrews, Chip was the consummate team player, sharing his wisdom, expertise, friendship, and support with his colleagues. It's an honor for me to ask Chip to come forward and receive this medallion recognizing your years of distinguished service to St. Andrews. Congratulations. Since 1978, Barb Sampson has worked at St. Andrews with an exemplary work ethic and commitment to the mission of the school. After 7 strong years in our business office, Barb moved to serving as the administrative assistant to the director of college counseling, a position that allowed her to work with students, parents, college and alumni representatives, and faculty. Under her careful watch, Barb witnessed a national and international revolution in the work of college admissions. As the quality and diversity and admissions competition on a national scale rose dramatically, Barb led over 2,400 St. Andrews students through the application process. She reviewed and processed over 17,500 applications, many of them sent in the first half of her career through something known as the U.S. mail. She worked with 7 directors of college counseling during her time here, teaching them patiently and supporting them completely. The college admissions scandal this spring not only taught us about the machinations and corruption of those who sought to reduce the process to a crass transaction, the crisis reminded us of schools like St. Andrews and women like Barb Sampson who pursue the college admissions process with integrity, dignity, and grace. Barb's office was always a place of remarkable focus, concentration, and efficiency, but it was also a place for people, particularly children and babies. Barb always made time for the care and nurturing of our children, and she literally raised and celebrated generations of St. Andrews faculty and staff children. Please join us in congratulating Barb on her retirement and on her incredible career. Barb, please come forward to receive this school medallion. Over Arts Weekend, we celebrated the vision and contributions of John and Elizabeth Mcgee during their 22 years at St. Andrews. Elizabeth led our ceramics program, worked creatively in the introduction to the arts class, and helped John establish the Warner Gallery as the center of professional and student-led exhibits within the school. Elizabeth brought innovation and creative approaches to the ways in which our students were introduced to working with sculpted forms, whether the material was clay, plaster, or wood. In addition to her many leadership roles within the Arts Center, Elizabeth helped Ann Taylor with many theatrical productions in Forbes Theater. Elizabeth, please come forward to receive this school medallion honoring your St. Andrews career with our thanks. During his distinguished career at the school from 1996 to 2019, John Mcgee has led and inspired the arts at St. Andrews. He's a brilliant teacher of painting, drawing, and art history. Our students have flocked to his art major course for seniors, for it's quite literally the best class of its kind in secondary education. John is the teacher who inspires and changes student lives. He's a man of passion, perception, wisdom, and energy. He's a prodigious reader, traveler, and painter who sees every day as a miracle to explore and appreciate. Of course, it was perfectly appropriate that the O'Brien Arts Center opened its doors in 2005, just as John, Elizabeth Mcgee, and Taylor in the arts department began teaching me what an impact such a building would have on our community. While John created the best studio arts program imaginable, his examples sparked creativity and innovation in ceramics, dance, film, and photography. His passion and determination brought great young teachers like Josh Meyer and Avi Gold and Evangeline Kelsey to the school. On Arts Weekend this spring, the Warner Gallery literally exploded in the most remarkable exhibition in school history. We thank John for inspiring this creativity, this humanity in this program, and we imagine the students whose lives have been enriched and inspired in the program he has built, both here within our student body of today and in our alumni. In his honor, beginning today, the school's art prize at commencement will be given in John's honor. John, please come forward to receive the school medallion. Like Sam Fathers in a William Faulkner short story, Peter Maclean is deeply connected to the earth, to the land, to the wonder and beauty of nature. Before he began his distinguished teaching career, Peter, of course, was a ranger with National Park Services and a volunteer in Shenandoah National Park. What brought him to St. Andrews was a reverence for students and a love of the natural setting of the school. A 2,200-acre campus he saw as a metaphor for the entire natural world he sought to protect and honor. Even in the early 1990s, Peter Maclean was a prophet of responsibility, stewardship, and sustainability. He revitalized the defunct Outing Club. He began annual trips to Hawk Mountain and Cape Henlopen State Park and Assateague. He launched St. Andrews' first recycling efforts, led magnificent planting expeditions on the main campus and in the woods, kindly and reverently planting walnut trees and fir trees and spruce trees everywhere. He and Diana Burke created Pond Day, the environmental lecture series, new sustainable agricultural practices, our solar array, and a wide variety of environmental commitments and endeavors. His love for the earth is fierce, unrelenting, intelligent, and emotional, but so too is his concern for future human generations who rely on us to make decisions that will protect the planet from destruction. As a teacher, science department chair, advisor, coach of football, lacrosse, Peter made St. Andrews a more caring, compassionate, and discerning school. It's inspiring to know that the new Amos Hall will feature an outdoor classroom dedicated to Peter's outstanding teaching career. It's my honor to share this medallion honoring his 30 years of distinguished service. We wish you and Carol Ann the very best in your new lives in Lewis. Thank you, Peter. Two members of our community are celebrating 25 years at St. Andrews. So they have at least 15 or 20 years more. Today we celebrate Julia Hoffman and her 25 years of dedicated work and service to St. Andrews. Julia is one of the people at St. Andrews who perfectly embodies the spirit of the community. She's always kind, always generous, always calm, always willing to help us prepare for school events, whether that event is scheduled well in advance or appears suddenly and unexpectedly with an email on her desk. As the director of our housekeeping staff, Julia is a thoughtful, encouraging, and positive leader. And she brings a comprehensive knowledge of all the people and all the events that make up a year at St. Andrews. Our community depends and relies on Julia every day, and it is good and appropriate to pause today and thank her as she marks 25 years of service to our school. Julia, please come forward to receive this 25-year medal. Congratulations. At the end of this spring's St. Andrews theatrical production of Sense and Sensibility, Alice Thomas Hilton and Austin Brannon paid tribute to their brilliant director, Ann Taylor. As we mark Ann's 25th year at St. Andrews, we, like Austin and Alice, pause to thank her for the magnitude of her contributions to the school. As we realize that this year's Arts Weekend, the work that happens in that building and in Forbes Theater serves as the foundation for our culture, our diversity, our response to a world that is often violent, intolerant, and fearful. As the co-chair of the arts department and head of our theater program, Ann has worked throughout her career to strengthen and inspire one of St. Andrews' great signature programs. The list, variety, and power of the productions she has directed are matched only by the number of students who found their voice, their confidence, and their courage under her inspired leadership. As an advisor, mentor, leader, and director, Ann Taylor makes St. Andrews come alive every year. It's my honor to present her today with this 25-year medal. In this good year at St. Andrews, we've celebrated and appreciated the work and spirit of our co-presidents, Nora and Carson. Inspired by the support and trust their classmates placed in them, Nora and Carson set out on their year of leadership, determined to ignite a spirit of excellence, engagement, and discernment within the community. They articulated, strengthened, and defended the principles so dear to them, their class, and the school. And they immersed themselves in their own passionate study, athletic leadership, and service to others. This daily commitment to setting an example of what the life of the mind, the life of the leader, the life of the citizen should look like made all of us work and collaborate and create with more energy and intention. We are so honored and excited to have them today as our speakers for their great class graduation. Carson is going to speak first.
Saturday, August 13th, 2016, my very first journal entry about St. Andrews. There were 22 days until move-in, and the thought of me actually being on campus still felt like something that would never happen. In this first journal writing, I wrote, "Today I decided to start a daily journal on my journey to St. Andrews. I knew this next phase of my life was going to be incredibly unique and something that I was going to want to remember for forever. So that's why I found a journal and started writing." Sunday, September 4th, 2016. My first move-in day, I wrote, "Wow, today is the biggest mix of emotions I have ever felt." I then go on to talk about the weirdness of the square dance and how shocked I was at how talented this girl Althea was at singing during the open mic. My journaling, however, did not stop there, and it actually never stopped. As crazy as it may sound, every single day of my life since beginning St. Andrews has been documented. Every single day. Now, I must admit that I didn't always have my journal on me, so I was forced to go back and fill in entries a few days later, but every day is still there, even if it was written 2 days in the future. And on an even more devastating note, I lost one of my journals. So from October 11th, 2016 to November 19th, 2016, my life will forever remain a mystery. When I began writing, I had no idea where it would lead me. But now, I have 3 years of my life carefully depicted by my often strange high school perspective. As this year came to a close, I found myself revisiting old entries, re-immersing myself in St. Andrean memories that I couldn't remember by heart. This process at times left me in tears, for I resurfaced moments that were incredibly challenging or inexplicably beautiful. I also found myself feeling incredibly embarrassed by the person I once was, laughing at my prior views on politics, how I saw the world, and who I wanted to become. But now, having re-entered my journey through this place, I find myself feeling more confident and ready to move forward. So let's take a few moments and go back in time together. Tuesday, April 4th, 2017, I wrote, "Yup, I'm that kid. The one who gets moved up to a new boat on the crew team, then gets rewarded by flying out of that boat and into the water because he crabbed so horribly. Nothing like a good confidence builder." On Tuesday, September 14th, 2017, I exclaim, "We had an evacuation drill after lunch, which was kind of weird to think about driving away to save your life. All I know is if the world is actually going to blow up, I am not getting in a yellow school bus, but finding Phil Davis and never letting go of him." On Friday, October 27th, 2017, I write, "Diane Nash gave an incredible talk tonight that did not only inspire everyone in the audience to fight for justice, but she actually provided us with the tools to make a real change in the world. There were amazing conversations in the common room after the talk with a bunch of junior boys. These small but powerful moments is when I remember why I love this school so much." On Friday, April 20th, 2018, I wrote, "Woke up and had 2 classes before the all-school walkout for gun control. There was also a student reflection, and then we wrote letters to our senators asking to reform and strengthen gun laws. It was such a cool experience seeing everyone motivated and excited to make the country a safer place for all of its students." Sunday, September 2nd, 2018, I say, "Wow, today was pretty big. The senior class helped move in freshmen, the new and scared parents were super overwhelming, and I can't believe my last square dance just happened. The day ended with an open mic night where the senior class sang Home by Philip Phillips. It was a song that I thought would sound so cheesy, but ended up being super emotional, yet really energizing. I'm so excited for this year to begin." On Friday, March 29th, 2019, I write, "I had a chill morning and went to Starbucks with Mr. Carroll to debrief all of the college craziness. I'm so lucky to have him in my life because he truly gives me the most guidance of anyone I know. He always has the best advice to give, and if I really think about it, he's the person that has saved me when I have been at my weakest." So, there are our moments, some small and others big. Memories that were lost and lacked proper stories, yet experiences that nonetheless helped us become who we are today. Each day, though they may seem incredibly similar, mundane, and unimportant, all actually have beautiful moments. Every day is filled with individuality, with uniqueness, with moments that can never be created again, which is why I think memory is so cool. You see, when we look back, we don't remember the similarities within each day, but instead, what stays with us most are those particular instances in time that meant something to us. Memory, if you really engage with it, is a super strange idea. Using our brains to try and protect and preserve every meaningful second of our lives seems like a task too big for any one mind. But together, memory becomes stronger, a force to be reckoned with, stories that come back to life. So, to all of the almost SAS graduates, when our independent memories begin to fade, don't get scared, don't freak out, and don't tell yourself that you're forgetting this place. Instead, pick up the phone and call someone. For together, our memories of 4, 3, or 2 years at this school become much more vivid when we re-engage with them together. And as we all look towards the future, to college and beyond, we are about to craft memories just like the ones we made here. Moments we are going to tell ourselves we will never forget. So, to the class of 2019, I ask of you one thing. Pick up a pen and grab a piece of paper, because I promise you these next moments of our lives will be worth writing down. Thank you. I now want to ask Noor to come and join me on the podium. Before continuing, we would like to thank some really important people in our lives and the lives of our classmates.
Thank you to all the parents who supported us miles away from home and sacrificed many family dinners and quality time so we could be challenged, so we could grow, so we could be here in this incredible place.
Thank you to the faculty who have given so much of themselves for us, who have given us more than anyone can actually put into words. For all those extra hours that sometimes go unnoticed, we are so eternally grateful.
We would like to thank Ms. Hansel and Profe for working with us and dedicating themselves to helping us have the best final year at St. Andrews that we could have.
Thank you to Mr. Robinson, Senora, Mr. Spears, and Mr. Roach for your guidance and mentorship. Good luck. You got it.
You killed it. I, too, journaled the newness of St. Andrews. Among the many profound things a 14-year-old girl has to say about life, I was able to find one sentence among the overload of superficial jargon about boys, freshman drama, and missing home. 14-year-old me writes, quote, "On the ride back from my basketball game today, I said I couldn't wait to get home. I called St. Andrews home. Isn't that weird?" End quote. When pouring through my old stuff, trying to find the inspiration to write this speech, the sentence stuck out to me. 18-year-old me, standing here today, cannot imagine a time when St. Andrews wasn't home. 18-year-old me cannot imagine a time where St. Andrews won't be home. The truth is, I feel like I have no advice, no wisdom, or knowledge to share with you. I don't know if we are ready for the academic rigors of college. I have no universal truth about how we are all prepared to take on the world, to change the narrative, to fight for goodness, or how we are all ready to bring a culture of kindness wherever we go because of the experiences and lessons we have had here. Nothing is certain for us. I guess that's what's truly terrifying, or maybe what is most exciting. Leaving the perfectly curated routine of breakfast at 8, sports till 3, sports till 6, and then 2 hours of free time to squeeze in dinner just in time for study hall, and then a good night's sleep that never actually feels good enough. My point is this place is so beautifully and perfectly predictable, so comfortable, so secure. So what's scary is the unfamiliarity, the unknown. It's that we know that we can't live our lives in this comfortable routine and this secure predictability forever. So the real beauty of this, our time at St. Andrews, is that it ends. That in the grand scheme of our lives, it is just 4 short years. But in 4 years, think about what you've accomplished, who you've loved, who you've impacted, who you've become, how you've changed, in just 4 short years. And best of all, these 4 years have led us here, to this moment on this day. It is also special because it could not last forever. So, as I searched for the right words, I returned to the song that the seniors sang to us 4 years ago on our very first day at St. Andrews, and the song we just sang to our underclassmen just 2 nights ago. This song, Home by Philip Phillips, made the uncertainty of coming to St. Andrews, of starting over here, disappear and be replaced with a sense of comfort and a promise of security. Philip Phillips writes, "Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone, because I'm going to make this place your home." I remember sitting anxiously in Engelhard, overwhelmed, as the long day of the square dance came to a close. The seniors congregated on stage and told me, someone who had only stepped onto campus hours before, that this was my home, that they were here to protect me, to guide me, to make me feel like no matter what, in these next 4 years, I would never be alone. And it was. St. Andrews was just that. St. Andrews became home because of the people we were able to be here. These 4 years, we were allowed and encouraged and expected to be unapologetically ourselves. St. Andrews made us stronger and kinder than we thought we could be. We were able to make mistakes, able to grow, to change, to love, to really be. Philip Phillips, however, never created lyrics for what comes next after this incredible place and this irreplaceable experience. His words don't tell you how to leave this notion of home. Philip Phillips didn't know that a place like St. Andrews existed, a place that you make into your home for just 4 short years, and then you have to say goodbye. We look around and tell ourselves that we will always have St. Andrews, that we will always have these people and this place, and that this place will always be ours. But I think we are scared. I am scared. Scared to leave these 2,200 acres, scared to leave my late Saturday night T-Doc conversations. I am scared to leave the silence of sitting on the tree that hangs above the water in the woods with a friend. Scared to leave the place that has changed a 14-year-old girl into the person who stands here today. I am scared of the unknown. I am scared of the unfamiliar. Philip Phillips didn't know that leaving this place would be so hard. But maybe he did. Every time I listened to this song, I found myself returning to the line, "Just know you're not alone." Philip Phillips repeats this so many times throughout his song because he actually did know how hard it would be. While I will miss the front lawn and the beautiful woods and the places that hold my fondest memories, my understanding of home when I wrote those words in my journal 4 years ago was so naive. My fears of leaving St. Andrews are so naive, because my home never belonged in these buildings or this finite little haven in the middle of nowhere, Delaware. My home never belonged in the old walls of Founders or the cornfields. Everything that we love about St. Andrews, the reason we were able to be who we are, the way we were able to make mistakes, to love, to change, was because of the people. It's the people who carry you, who challenge you, who love you in moments large and small. It's the people who cried with you and celebrated with you. It's them who stood by you, unconditionally supporting you, watching and enabling you to grow. This is what Philip Phillips meant when he said, "You are not alone." He refers to the unconditional support that the people around you provide, which allows a place like St. Andrews to become home so easily. It is not this place that is home. It is you. Look around, class of 2019. Your homes sit right there next to you. You are home. So next fall, my home will not only belong in Saudi Arabia and Egypt or Middletown, Delaware, but it will exist everywhere from St. Louis and Maine to Wisconsin and Texas, In Rome and in London, my home is no longer an obsolete place, but 81 souls all over the country and world, 81 new places to find solace, to find comfort and support, 81 homes. So as you move on, hold on to each other. Hold on to each other as we roll down this unfamiliar road, because it's these hands you hold that make this place your home. Thank you.
Thank you both for those words. At commencement, we have several awards to share, and I'm going to begin with the Robert T. Jordan Award. Given by his classmates and former teachers at St. Andrews in memory of Robert T. Jordan, class of 1986, who died September 11, 2001 in the World Trade Center attacks. To the fourth formers who display the qualities that made Robert so memorable and distinctive: a love of humanity, an appreciation of friendship, a willful perseverance and resolve amidst adversity and opportunity, a unique and refreshing perspective on life and all its possibilities. Presented by Arts Department co-chair and director of theater program and classmate of Rob's, Ann Taylor, to Luke Aaron Barnes and Halea Zara Sulati. The Christopher Wilson Award and Scholarship, given by his parents in memory of Christopher Edward Wilson, class of 1999. The award recognizes a senior who best embodies Chris's virtues and personal qualities: a love of St. Andrews, a quiet and authentic appreciation of life, friendship, and community, a devotion to service and to children, and a kind and generous spirit. Presented by Chris's brother Josh Wilson, class of 1995, and his wife Becky Hale, to Jung Ching Yon. Kristen C. Dupre Diversity and Inclusivity Award, awarded in memory of Kristen C. Dupre, class of 2004, to the 6 formers who have provided exceptional service in the cultivation of a diverse and inclusive St. Andrews School community. Presented by Dean of Diversity Education, Giselle Furlong, and Assistant Dean of Diversity Education, Devin Dupre, Stacy's sister, to Ann Yancey Bassett, Austin Mark Brannon, Elise Victoria Hogan, and Matthew Alexander Yan. The Jonathan B. O'Brien Head of School Award. The Jonathan B. O'Brien Head of School Award celebrates the brilliant and courageous leadership and vision of St. Andrews' third headmaster, John O'Brien, who led the school from 1977 to 1997. The award recognizes seniors who contribute to the ethos of St. Andrews with integrity, humanity, generosity, and love. Presented by his daughter, Lou Burrell, Associate Director of Admission, and Joan O'Brien, former Associate Director of Admission, and John's wife and co-architect for the St. Andrews we know and love. Presented to Noor Mustafa El-Baradi, Daniel Jung-Hun Lee, and Porter Carson McCoy. The John McGee Fine Arts Award, given in honor of John McGee, inspirational teacher of art from 1996 to 2019, awarded to the student who has made the greatest contribution in the fine arts and demonstrated a depth and quality of talent that demands our recognition. Presented by Arts Department Chairs Ann Taylor and John McGee to Miriam Elizabeth Beams and Austin Mark Brannon. The Henry Prize, awarded to the sixth form students who have been of greatest service to athletics. It recognizes not only personal athletic skill, but also service to the teams of which the students were members. Presented by athletic directors Al Wood and Heidi Pierce, Tumor Mustafa Alberdi, Miriam Elizabeth Beams, Williams Forbes Camerzel, and Thaddeus Mixter Montesano Scheibe. The King Prize for the leading scholar during the sixth form year, presented by Dean of Teaching and Learning Elizabeth Roach to Enoch Cho. The Founders Medal, awarded to the scholar in the graduating class who during his or her career at St. Andrews has achieved the best academic record in the form. Presented by Amanda and Grace Gahagan, faculty members and great-great-granddaughters of the founder and granddaughters of Chair Emeritus Kitten Gahagan, to Enoch Cho. The William H. Cameron Award, given to the sixth form students who have performed outstanding service to the school. Presented by their advisors, Elizabeth Roach and Fred Garsbach, to Miriam Elizabeth Beams and Augustin Manalili Sager. The St. Andrew's Cross, given in honor of the late Bishop Cook of Delaware, who was associated with the founding of the school. It recognizes the student whose contribution to the school has been distinguished for Christian qualities of concern for others, humility, and high principle. Presented by his advisor, Jason Hansel, to Nicholas Jin Young Lo. As a member of the faculty and leader of students and teachers for 40 years, Will Spears ignited and developed St. Andrew's School as one of the great secondary schools in the world. His teaching expresses a reverence and understanding of the art of literature. Under his passionate and discerning spirit, texts, poems, short stories, plays, and novels come alive in all their vivid detail, urgency, and illumination. The Spears teaching genius emerged from his earnest and unceasing commitment to understand, appreciate, and translate the courage, vision, tragedy, and comedy of the writers he taught. And in this capacity, the greatest novelists, playwrights, poets, and short story writers found the reader they most valued and celebrated, a person with an ever-open and expanding heart and vision, a scholar who was humble, patient, discerning, and kind, and a teacher who could somehow make text come alive for a new generation of readers. Will had teachers in his life who set his heart and his mind on fire. Great teaching, his beloved prep school teacher exclaimed once, is like trembling. And Will Spears set off to create that culture and that energy and that passion in every class he taught. By the power of his soul, spirit, and imagination, Will Spears decided that his teaching would be about creating passion, discovery, and enlightenment, both because he wanted to honor great writers and great teachers who inspired him, but also because he loved his students even more than the texts or the authors who fascinated him. Great teachers know that students possess wisdom and grace and beauty in their hearts and souls from day one. And great teachers know that only through love, attention, enthusiasm, patience, and humility will the student open their soul to learning, to enlightenment, to engagement in the world. Will Spears is that great teacher. And so to honor his parents, his teachers, and his professors, his school, his colleagues, and his beloved students, Will Spears made great teaching the passion of his life. And yes, he transformed, inspired, and cultivated greatness in St. Andreans and St. Andrews. Now, if teaching was the essence of Will Spears' soul, his generosity and versatility made him an inspiring school leader, too. He held every office and leadership position possible in the school: teacher, coach, dorm parent, English department chair, dean of studies, dean of admissions, dean of students, dean of faculty, associate head of school, acting head of school. He organized Parents' Weekend, Trustee Weekend, Awards Night, and his favorite of all, Commencement. He lived for the impact, development, and flourishing of this great place, and he refused to allow himself to ever retreat from his day and evening commitment to the essence of the community. As a head of school, I deeply appreciated and celebrated the grace and mastery and intelligence Will brought to St. Andrews. We cultivated a friendship that lifted our souls and essentially supported us through the joy, learning, challenges, and tragedies of life and death. As my dear friend, colleague, and key associate during my career as a head of school, Will Spears was phenomenal. When I was alone, he was with me. When I was confused, disturbed, or anxious, he was clear and calm and encouraging. When I felt betrayed or lacerated or undermined, he gave me liberating trust and faith. When I did not know what to do or where to turn, he convinced me that I did know what to do. When I was frightened, he gave me courage. When I was wrong, which is more than I like to remember, he told me what was right. As I introduce Will today, I'm proud to share the variety of ways St. Andrews have stretched to honor this man, this family, this legacy. He holds the Will Spears Associate Head Chair, the first endowed faculty chair in the history of the school. All future associate heads of school will hold the Will Spears Associate Head Chair and work in his spirit of grace and goodness. Alumni and parents and past parents and trustees have created the Will Spears Endowed Financial Aid Fund, honoring Will's love of St. Andrews' historic and current commitment to access for all students, regardless of financial means. And finally, Classroom 17, will be forever known as the Will Spears Classroom. Please join me in thanking, congratulating, and welcoming Will Spears, the 2019 commencement speaker at St. Andrews, as he receives the school medallion.
You did a miserable job holding it together. Thank you. I needed much more. Thank you. Scott Saprell, and stalwart visionary trustees, the spirit of John O'Brien, who first invited me in 1979 and then guided my career for 18 years with his dynamic wife, Joni, present in the audience to see her third grandchild graduate. Tad and Elizabeth Roach, whose friendship and partnership have been the professional and personal gifts of a lifetime. Esteemed colleagues gathered around me who teach with such inspiring gusto. My wife, Heidi, whose love fuels this and the next adventure, and whose dedicated teaching to immigrant adults yearning to become U.S. citizens demonstrated how education can truly change lives. My remarkable 3 sons, graduates of St. Andrews, and here today, each a vivacious manifestation of the St. Andrews ethos. Parents and family members bursting with pride and love, underformers who are the vital and exciting future of this school, and most importantly, seniors, sixth formers, members of the outstanding class of 2019, it is a distinct and humbling honor to graduate with you today. Perhaps more than any other commencement speaker could, I know what you have been going through this senior year, this spring, this past week, this day, these fleeting moments together now on the front lawn, the anticipation and the denial, the emotionally charged goodbyes hovering in the air, the mysterious world that beckons down the driveway, each speed bump underscoring the transition. We are dumbfounded at how fast the time has gone by. So many contradictory, explosive, and unknown sensations course and rage through us, with so much to celebrate, so much to miss. We know these buildings, classrooms, dorms, the benches in the dining room, the pews in the chapel, the athletic fields, the trees, the sunset stretching shadows across the grass. But what will it be like starting over, being new, not comforted by the reassuring sounds of the bell tower, or everyone go to your tables, please, or Griffin up, or time for tiny tots to triumph and travail Tuesday, or the daily references to Hamlet, Beloved, or Bryan Stevenson. You and I, we seem to exist in a triptych time zone of past, present, and future, a nexus of memories and fears, the familiar and strange. And then there is this ephemeral present which relentlessly sprints forward. And then there's that dorm room, that house, with so much stuff to be packed up. Where did all those things come from? Exactly how many SAS-related t-shirts do I have? Well, you and I, we will survive and flourish because we know how to make friends, how to be a friend, how to collaborate, support, laugh together, work through pain or confusion with another. You know, by coming to St. Andrews, how to start over because you did it 2, 3, or 4 years ago. You know how to be open to all, regardless of means or sexual orientation or gender identity or race or religion or color or national origin or ethnicity. You know how to talk to your teachers, how to engage in challenging courses, how to be curious, how to explore, how to serve, how to imagine, how to compete. You know how to include, how to notice, how to rescue. The people encircling you, seniors, these people are in your life for the rest of your life. And for those of you who believe in Heathcliff and Kathy, these classmates will obliterate that puny boundary of life and death and forever romp with you in the great ethos above, the St. Andrews version of heaven. Your mean chapel talks last Wednesday night, testimonials offered by Xander, Diana, May, Danny, and Sharon celebrated the generosity and mettle of your friendships. Afterwards, driving with Bilal and Noor into town for food, I mentioned how powerfully those talks captured your form's capacity for authentic relationships. Bilal thought for a moment and then replied, "We really know how to show up for each other." There it is, the artistry of your hearts in action. What Zahara, Lily, Ben, Francis, and Matt told us last night, what Carson and Noor just spoke, these expressions substantiate your commitment to each other and your ability to ever widen your circle of friends. St. Andrews fosters friendships. Like you, I've made friends at St. Andrews that I know will last beyond this campus, beyond this block schedule, beyond weekends and Wednesday night dinner in chapel, beyond school meeting and arts weekend and successful or grueling athletic seasons. I've known Elizabeth Roach for 40 years. I've known her amazing parents, her Aunt Mary, her 4 sisters, including Annie, the mother of your classmate Tad, her 4 children, each of whom I taught how to ride a bicycle because their brilliant father lacked that athletic skill. From among a million examples, here's my Elizabeth Roach lifetime friendship parable. There's a similar occurrence between you and any number of your classmates. During Jesmyn Ward's visit last month, in the lunch session with students in the Gahagan room, Jesmyn Ward talked about her early years as a struggling writer. You, Elizabeth, were sitting next to her. And as she recounted what it was like to be rejected over and again by publishing houses, Jesmyn Ward confessed, turning to look right at you, that perhaps I'm no good, I can't write. What struck me about this moment was that when she turned to you, instinctively, you gave her an expression back which said, "No, Jesmyn, you can write. You are good." I could see it in how your eyes and smile asserted that conviction to her. It's an assurance I've received countless times from you over these years. One your students, advisees, tennis players, colleagues, past and present parents, alums your family know so well. I don't have to be at St. Andrews to experience that acceptance. You, the class of 2019, you also have classmates who love and affirm you, and that bond will endure even as you depart to different campuses. Here's but one sinew of my abiding friendship with Tad Roach, from rooming with him on Sherwood, to being godparents to each other's children, to teaching side by side for 40 years. We also coached boys varsity soccer together for about 15 years. At one practice during the mid-1980s, I remember you stopped the drill. The team sat on benches on the field where the swimming pool is now. Bending down on your then youthful knees, you asked the team, "Why are we here?" I can't remember what prompted this talk, but this episode crystallized for me that athletic teams, with the right approach and engagement, could become entities larger than themselves, more significant than their one-loss record. I remembered that fall afternoon for 35 plus years because you possess the Tolstoyan ability to transform the ordinary into the significant. In school meetings, chapel talks, and conversations in your grace-filled office, bestowing justice, compassion, and hope upon confusion, pain, and loss. I've never met someone who so passionately believes in people, in the miracle of kindness, the sanctity of connections and conversation, and the redemptive energy of education and community. Your tenacious heart and mighty soul have saved, reinforced, and sustained me. That's what friends do. You seniors already know this. You have such friends sitting next to and around you. At your 5th, 25th, 40th reunion on this front lawn, you will be amazed at and nourished by how much has happened with these friends since today. Why is this so true for you, the class of 2019? I have 2 possible explanations, both of which relate, of course, to books and the classroom. But I'm also starting to consider it wasn't so much that the books taught you something new as the books reflect what is already inside you. When you were in fifth form, many of you read Jesmond Ward's Sing Unburied Sing. We may have been the first school in the country to read it, and certainly your experience helped Mrs. Roach convince Jesmond Ward to come to St. Andrews last month. In one class, we were discussing that profound scene right before Mama dies, a scene teeming with ghosts and spirits and family members surrounding Mama in her bed. Building off a classmate's comment, Ben argued that these characters make up each other. They complete each other. Ben was already anticipating 6-0 and the 30-mile woman in Beloved. She is a friend of my mind, Paul D. remembers. She gathered me, man, the pieces I am, she gathered them and give them back to me in all the right order. Real friendships, you and Ben assert, are about completing, fulfilling, honoring. When you were in fourth form, you heard Brian Stevenson and Engelhard proclaim that our very humanity came from our brokenness. Some of you traveled to Montgomery this winter to learn about his Equal Justice Initiative. A friend initiates the putting together process by showing up, maybe with a pizza slice, maybe with a seat in a car to Wawa, maybe just as a silent witness. I promise that you don't need your bomb corridor or your upper mean room to experience this restoration. It will happen with these friends forever. You and I know there really isn't the last class or family-style lunch or game at St. Andrews. This concept of last doesn't exist. Instead, there is only the lasting friendships, lasting cables, lasting gifts of coherence, beauty, direction, and joy. There's another way St. Andrews gathers you together in all the right order. It's the motif of palimpsest. Palimpsest is when you physically write on top of a piece of writing, so we see multiple narratives, usually from different time periods, together. This spring, my fifth form students read about palimpsest in the Cheneysville incident. There's an example of palimpsest in Wuthering Heights, when Lockwood reads Kathy's journal, written in the margins of a novel from her bookcase. Hamlet rewrites his entire life, re-engraving his vision of what it means to live, to let be, on top of the revenge plot he was handed by life in Act 1. Pride and Prejudice becomes a novel of revision, reseeing, redoing, another type of palimpsest for Elizabeth Bennet. Palimpsest is also like a remix in music. It's the carving you did last night in the basement of Founders, where your names and initials add to the signatures of alums dating back to the earliest days of St. Andrews. That wall downstairs has become the ongoing novel of St. Andrews, each graduating class writing its own chapter. Palimpsest is about the story continuing, evolving, regenerating. William Park, in a conversation we had this spring over breakfast, taught me that palimpsest also happens in art, something he was learning from Mr. Mcgee and Miss Gahagan in their art history course. As William explained how some of the Japanese artists they were studying were painting conversations between the past and the present, it occurred to me that St. Andrews, indeed our lives, are a palimpsest. We are all adding to the unfolding narrative of life, of this school, of our families, of our countries, of our common world. And each of these stories grows because we re-engage with them. We rethink and reimagine and repaint and reword and resound. You and I, we have new texts, a fresh canvas waiting for us in places that are not by Knoxontown Pond. As scary and unknown and uncertain as that may be, that's an invitation and adventure worthy of our character and aspirations. Your commencement today is both yours and yours created with so many others, seniors who mentored you, teammates, classmates, teachers, friends, advisories, clubs, parents, and family. You and St. Andrews are a robust palimpsest of lives, struggles, promises, expressions, interpretations, and reinterpretations, scratches upon previous scratches, tenaciously coalescing together. Each conversation links us, grants us a new vision or question to explore, a fresh perspective to learn from, a confusion to wrestle with. Colin McCann described this connection in Transatlantic. We return to the lives of those who have gone before us, a perplexing Mobius strip until we come home, eventually to ourselves. Similarly, Lois Kim, Sylvia's mom, told us in her stirring Arts Weekend chapel talk that St. Andrews can be a place to return to, a place to draw strength from, a moral compass, a foundation of courage and goodness and coherence. St. Andrews is here, but it's also out there. It's simultaneously here and also the lives lived by graduates, by you parents, by past parents and faculty. Your colleges need you. Workplaces and towns and countries seek you. Bring them your wonder and insights and vitality. These diplomas mean little unless you share this human curriculum, galvanizing and animating it and yourself in union and communion with others. Thus, your St. Andrews experience becomes the palimpsest of your next journey. So let's resolve to embrace the incompleteness of our existence and understanding and dedicate our education, artistry, and souls to the lives, questions, and service of others. Then your St. Andrews diploma gains relevance, purpose, muscle. Where do we find the sustenance and the stamina for this noble, necessary undertaking? What redeems our sacred scrapes and bruises? Ultimately, my graduating friends, for you and for me, what St. Andrews sends us out into the world with is love. Love fuses us forever to St. Andrews, to the people here. Love blasts through divisions and forges bonds. Love animates and reveres, awakens and emboldens. Remember how Jesmyn Ward finished her talk to us last April? In a packed, absolutely silent Engelhard Hall? At the heart of Sing Unburied Sing, she said, is love. We have to care, share truths, hold hands, reckon with traumas, sing them. This love lets characters witness and bear witness. And then Jesmyn Ward read JoJo's final description of Kayla's affirmation of and song to the ghosts in the tree. Kayla sings, and the multitude of ghosts lean forward, nodding. They smile with something like relief, something like remembrance, something like ease. Yes. Kayla tugs my arm and I lift her up. Pop turns. I follow him as he looks for raccoon and possum and coyote. Bends branch after branch as he leads us back to the house. Kayla hums over my shoulder, says, shh, like I am the baby and she is the big brother. Says, shh, like she remembers the sound of water in Leonie's womb, the sound of all water, and now she sings it. Home, they say, home. When she finished this passage, Jesmyn Ward looked up at us, exclaiming, "This is how we reckon. This is how we hope. This is how we witness. This is how we thrive." Can you feel how Jesmyn Ward's radical vision of love pulsates with grit, glory, and audacity? We must react to the world around us, to reckon, to hope, to witness. If we do that, if we answer in Kayla's universal language, then, proclaims Jesmyn Ward, we thrive. You, class of 2019, you beloved, dynamic, creative, perceptive, ferociously kind, silly, and generous seniors, you already know that. You are Kayla. You are the senior class who loved, who loves, who transformed us with your dances, songs, embraces, pursuits, artistry, heroic endeavors. And for you and for me, we also know in the very marrow of our bones, sense it right this second, as it all seems to be racing away from us, that quintessentially, St. Andrews is also love. Love that listens and perseveres, love that revitalizes and prevails, love that thrives. So much eagerly awaits you, needs your spirit for, will be made better because you were there, as has characterized your days at St. Andrews. Fiercely hug these friendships. Keep creating the palimpsest that is your life story. Go love, go thrive. Thank you.
So I think Bilal's saying one last time, so I think, Mr. Spears, do you have it in you one last time for some names here? Yep. All right, we're going to do some diplomas to honor all of you.
We actually begin by welcoming back your classmate from fourth form, Pauline von Stechau, who has returned from Germany to be with her graduating friends. Pauline, please stand. Piper Margaret Ackerman. Alexander Stewart Adelaide. Andrew James Ayers. Ann Yancey Bassett. Miriam Elizabeth Beams. Wilder Dolan Burrell. Jessica Marie Boyer. Austin Mark Brannon. Logan Robert Brown. Charles Tobin Cahill. William Forbes Camerzell. Sarah Elizabeth Karen. Collins, Namdi, Chima, and Yanka. Enoch Cho. Althea Caldonia Clark. Thomas Wilkinson Key Cunningham. Anya Dawan. Elizabeth Stewart Egan. Noor Mustafa El Baradi. Henry Robert Fitzpatrick Esterson. Cole Davidge Raven Gloa Ferguson. Maclean Copeland Fishman. Ryan Godfrey. Mark Greenstreet Achman. Story Jane Sloan Hentoff. Alice Conley Thomas Hilton. Elise Victoria Hogan. Nadja Isabella Holcomb. Diana Michelle Honey. Benjamin Cornelius Horgan. Crystal Chidera Ike. Theodore Harris Jaffe. Sue B. Kim. Tenzing Kunsang. Daniel Tung Hung Lee. Nicholas Jin Young Low. Nicole Lopez. Ava Mayela Makribi Lumban Gawel. Francis Brown Malley. Zahara Grace Martinez. Porter Carson McCoy. Richard Shepard McCoy. Reagan Stafford Meyer. Anna Caperton Moore. Bilal Morsi. Hannah Lloyd Claire Murphy. Margaret Fallon Murphy. Anna Sophia Neal. Liam Patrick Finnan O'Connell. Charlotte Tolliver Oxnam. Catherine Marie Paris. Jin-Ung Park. Leandra Barbara Pesco. Timothy Ward Peters III. Alexander Kwong Bon Fan. Robert Alexander Portnoy. Arthur Finley Potter. Mary Breeson Purrier. Gawen Chen. Adelia Hunting Rattray. Elizabeth Shoemate Reed. Sylvia Meejin Reed. Augustus Hamilton Richards. Catherine Bennett Rickert. James Martin Rowley. Thaddeus Mixter Montesano Scheibe. Davis Ellison Scott. Augustin Manalili Sager. Owen Littleford Stegman. Alexander Mark Stolson. Kevin Hao Chung Sun. Nancy Holland Tucker. Makai Jamal Turpin. Alexander Nicholas Vogel, Jr. Reese Kiernan Williams. Sharon Gwendolyn Williams. Sydney Alexis Marie Williams. Nicholas Harold Pratt Wilmerding. Matthew Alexander Yan. Zhong Qingyuan. Jacob Max Zimmerman.
Congratulations to you all. We now will move to our national anthem, followed by the benediction from our chaplain, Jay Hutchinson, and then we look forward to a wonderful celebration here on the lawn at St. Andrews. So please stand for the playing of our national anthem.
I don't know about you all, but I was certainly blessed by seeing something extraordinary, and perhaps you didn't notice it, but we up here as the faculty had a bird's eye view. And that is that to a person, every one of these seniors was much more interested in giving Mr. Roach a hug and thanking him than they were in grabbing the diploma. That's extraordinary. I was blessed by that, and I hope you were too. Friday, we planted the class tree. And somebody who's very dear to this community reminded us of this, and I need you to be very quiet. Shh. Listen. Listen for the birds. He reminded us to listen to the breeze blowing through the trees. That's blessing enough for all of us. And now, class of 2019, as you ride out the long driveway one last time into the setting sun, may God guide you, and may the spirit of all that is St. Andrews sustain you and be in your hearts, inspiring you to do mighty acts and to love all of those near you better than you love yourselves. To love all nature and all humanity, and to get proximate with the other. And all this we ask in the name of our Creator and our Sustainer and our Redeemer God. Amen.
Congratulations.